world where equality is just another euphemism for mediocrity, where participation is more highly valued than achievement, where just enough to get by is the new standard of excellence. There is a small minority of people who fight back against such apathy, who struggle daily to reach new heights. These brave few are the hope for the future, the bright shining light for the next generation. They are the ones who will lead us to the places we have never dreamed of, to the undiscovered country, to reach goals only a few can even begin to imagine. Unfortunately, none of those people could be here tonight, so kick back and relax. Prepare yourself for several hours of fun, friendship, fascinating conversation, and fabulous music. All those F's, that's an alliteration and kind of a radio trick. Speaking of radio, you're listening to the most popular radio station in the history of broadcast radio, at least among stations that originate from Chris's living room. It's Curious Times. Your host is a curious listener. Here she is, Chris.
Alrighty then. Welcome to Curious Times. It's Monday. It's Family Day in most of Canada, so I was thinking earlier today, well, at least I got something out of having a family, I guess. Although when you aren't working, a day off isn't really hardly a good thing, because it's a day off from also being able to try to get it work because nobody's working. And so anyway, happy Family Day, Diane. And I don't know, does it come some kind of holiday in the States too, you guys? Some kind of holiday today in the States? I totally have not even, since the Olympics are on now, I'm not on, the one good thing about the Olympics coming on is I'm not, usually my TV's locked on MSNBC, and okay, well, I can't handle the first part, I don't do that, but words of wisdom, they're free here. Feel free to call in soon, because I'm out of here early, Jackie, and this means things didn't go too good at work, it sounds like. What was I saying just before? It is President Day. Okay, I figured it would be some kind of American. So yeah, I don't. But so the beautiful thing about the Olympics being on is now my channel's on Olympics all day long and all night long instead, and so that means I've actually gone a few days without hearing that asshole's name. That guy, what's his silly ass name? Rhymes with, what's the most offensive word that rhymes with that? Jump. Anyway, I haven't heard the guy's name in a little while, which is good news. So, okay, let's get going. Diana is here tonight. Tomorrow, Lisa's here. Wednesday, we're off. Thursday, Jen Young is here. Friday, Salva Dutton. I'm doing an early week all week, and so if there'll be full shows if other people want to come in and sort of help out with the last second hour. And assuming that I don't die between now and then, if I suddenly don't just show up, probably means I died from some kind of terrible lung infection problem thingy as a result of inhaling puffed wheat powder. Laughing, it doesn't help. Okay, but otherwise I'll be here for a shorter period of time for this week, okay? Diana's here tonight. She's a psychic medium, a Reiki healer. She's a healer and a Reiki Master Teacher, past life regression specialist. I still want to see, maybe in the second hour tonight, that if Diana's willing, and if we have maybe let's put Jackie in the hot seat. And it's just, if Jackie's willing and if Diana's willing, do a past life regression. How cool would that be? We've done that here on the show before, but that would be kind of cool, actually. And anyway, Diana is also a paranormal investigator, and she's an ordained minister, and we forgive her for that. I'm just kidding. And you can go check out her website at www.psychicfrontier.com, and let's just go get her. Hello, Diana. How are you?
Oh, great. How are you doing, Chris?
Pretty good, thanks. Pretty good. Sorry for the offensive throat noises, but I'm trying to save my life.
Yeah, not a problem. I've been there. I know. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Like if I had just like done, food or something, that's something solid that can come out, right? But this was like, I don't know if anybody in the whole world has ever done what I did yesterday. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it's not good. Anyway, what's new with you? We got. Are you willing to try a past life regression on the air if we can find someone who's willing?
Yeah, we could try it. I'm used to doing it in person with what I call the human battery method, but sure. I mean, I've done some without it. Whatever comes through, comes through. If everybody's okay with that, I'm okay with that.
Or what you could do is try to just lead a group one, and then people can just try to have it. We did that once before on the show too. That was the most interesting because I actually got with it, and I could see that so that we were put in this case we would go down the stairs, right, backward, and then you get on a train, and then the train is going backwards. And then at some point you're now there in the past, and then they ask you to like look. What's the first thing you see? Like open your eyes. What's the first thing I saw was like shoes. I could tell that I was a man, an old man, and I had a cane. And then I got off the train, and I got that far with it. It was a bit of an overcast day and all that. But then they asked you to like look around and see if you can find out where you are. And kind of at that point, you know what I mean? I was unable to be there anymore or whatever. So that was interesting for me. I've always, because I think sometimes when I hear people do these, I get the feeling that they're just like giving answers just to, you know what I mean? Like describe where you are and all this kind of, and like I just think sometimes that they're just kind of like making it up or something. And so when as I say, a lot of this stuff is easier when you can experience it yourself. But it's also the reason why I sing with meditation, where like I'm like I can't fake this, you know what I mean? And so like if I don't hear the gate squeaking, I'm like sorry, I don't hear the gate squeaking, which means by the time that I come to terms with the fact that my gate is not squeaking, perhaps the owner of my gate had WD-40, so my gate is not supposed to squeak, but I'm still stuck way back at trying to hear my gate squeak, and everybody's like into the forest already. You know what I mean? And so I'm light years behind them in the journey. And so, but it was kind of cool that time, and it was just a group thing, so that the guests that we had just kind of like walked us through it, like you would do a guided meditation. It was like a guided past life regression, and so that was interesting anyway. I was glad that I could at least get a little bit, and I know that I wasn't making up that I saw the shoes and the cane and knew that I was an old man, and but I didn't know, I could not figure out what era I was in or what year it was or where I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, did you get some insight from it in some way? Like something you could bring into this lifetime?
No. Okay. No, because it was just that, that was it. Like, I mean, really at that point it was like I didn't glean anything else from it other than I had men's shoes on, a cane, and I was an old man. I surmised that I was an older man. And that's it. That's all I got out of it. And that it was an overcast day. Don't know when I was, where I was. Don't know anything else other than those two things. So, but at least it was something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think the more you explore that, the more you'll find some instances where you'll you'll get like a few snippets like that, bits and pieces, and there's not a lot you can bring forward, but at least you have the experience, so you kind of know what it feels like, so you feel more comfortable doing it again. And then other times you can do it, and I think you'll be amazed sometimes at different memories that come through, or you'll just have some aha about, something in this lifetime. It's like, oh, okay, I understand this a little more because I experienced that then, or I did that, so now I'm, trying to fix that or make it better or whatever. Right.
So listen, we have like an unusual scenario here, whereas we have a caller who's had a rotten day, who's been having a tough time at the job. And they wanted to get on, and since I'm not going to be here late, I wonder if we can if we should skip to that and take Jackie's call and then go from there.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, let's see. And maybe Jackie will take a past life regression for $200, Alex. Hi. What's going on, Jackie? What's going on? Sorry you had it.
I ended up quitting my job today.
Okay.
I haven't cried all day, and now I'm going to cry.
You realize crying is not, that would be a violation of Rule 92 GII subclause A.
Let it flow, Jackie. It's okay.
Well, I don't even know where to start. I went back to school, got a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling, and I was paired up with, we do family counseling. There's 2 counselors, and I've noticed a vibe since, I've only been in this job since January 2nd, and she came a week after me. Anyway, I sensed that, she, didn't like me, but today in the meeting, she was just like, I love this job, but I hate you, and, this went on for, 2 hours, and, I don't even know if I'm making sense right now. I'm very upset.
And so there was a manager there that allowed a person to talk to another employee that way?
Yeah, there were two supervisors there. And she was like, I hate she was crying and very upset, and I was talking to her and she was like, don't therapize me. Don't act like you're my therapist. And I don't know, there's a 30-year age difference in us. I don't know,
yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, you quit, so there's not much more we can do about that. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So, truly, I would have rather seen you let her, because it sounds to me like if she was let on her own devices, she'd eventually shown herself to be the one that didn't belong there. You know what I mean?
Well, even in the meeting, she started crying, and then she had to leave because she had to go throw up. Then she threw up, and then they almost apparently called an ambulance because she's hypoglycemic, and her fiance had to come and get her. And and just all this stuff that she told me, in a way, and I don't know if I believe this, but I'm going to say it. In a way, she was refreshingly honest, and I felt it all along that she hated me or whatever. But I always felt like I was walking on eggshells. I couldn't sleep at night. I wasn't, eating. I was having stomach problems. I don't understand what went wrong, but I'm hoping I did the right thing. I feel like I did because I don't think that there would have been a resolution. And I feel, I don't know. What are you picking up for me?
Well, all I'm saying is, I'm just going to jump in real quick and just say, from an employee, from a labor relations perspective, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
my concern is that, now you're going to put this on your resume. You're going to so that's going to come up to say, why did you leave that job? And then it's going to be, well, I had this problem with this work. And then they're going to be all like, oh, well, here's a person that can't even resolve a simple problem with a coworker. And so how are they going to help us, help our clients, resolve their, you know what I mean? So now I'm wondering in my mind whether you should even list this as how long, you were there for like a month and a half or 2 months, or how long? Yeah,
a month and a half.
I don't know if you should list it as
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Okay, good. Okay, now I'll let the psychic, yeah. Go ahead, Dianna. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. As soon as you started talking, I was seeing the Eiffel Tower, and I think you might have known this person before in Paris, and by seeing the Eiffel Tower, it tells me it was 1892 or after, because that's when that was built. But I was kind of looking at that, and I wondered, well, were they relatives, like parent-child or husband and wife or something? And I saw a bunch of young people, young adults and kids on the street. I think you were like street gangs, and you were different gangs, and in this episode today, it was kind of all coming to a head of this stuff that came out before. So have you ever looked at past lives before?
No.
Okay. I think this is something that you can resolve yourself just with kind of calming down and just kind of getting in that meditative headspace where you're not really thinking about anything, you're just kind of getting in that zone and clearing everything out. But then I think you are going to have to release this person so there's nothing hanging over you. And I agree with Chris. I do think her true colors kind of came out today, and I would be very surprised if she's in her job there for very long. But after you kind of take a little time just to kind of get separated from the situation and these people, if you get in that meditative space a little bit every day, but just take a little time, and at some point, though, kind of picture her in front of you and try and do some forgiveness work. You're going to forgive yourself for being bothered by her in the first place, and just forgive her for whatever it is she was doing, that was causing the problem. And
I was trying to like put white light on everybody, like
good.
in the meeting, and she got mad at me for like, oh, look at you, like being all calm and being all like a therapist. Like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't.
Well, just know that she's not anywhere close to where you are in terms of your spirituality, working on finding that peace in your life. And I know you said there was 30 years difference, so I don't know if she's older or younger, but she's acting very immature in this. But again,
she's younger.
Okay, I get the feeling there is that strong kind of past life history thing that you could, ask when you do this meditative work, ask your spirit guides to help you and just say, I want to clear this completely. So whatever it is, I need to do in terms of forgiveness work, just help me, give me some tips, what I need to do to let this go, because I want this behind me now, and I don't want her energy or anything like her, around me. I want to work through this right now. But ask for that help, and they'll come through and they'll help you. They'll help you do what you need to do.
Okay.
And I get a strong feeling too. You need to. I know you're probably wanting to get something again pretty soon, right? In terms of job. And that's all right. If you can take one full day to not do anything about that would be good. If you can do a couple, that's great. But if if it's really kind of stirring at you and you feel you need to do it, that's fine. But if you could limit your job search and research on that end to maybe an hour to 90 minutes a day for a few days before you really get serious into it again, that would be really good for you, because you just need to just clear that space. She really got into your energy, and keep putting the white light on because you keep doing that every day, and that's going to help. And do some creative visualization. I get the feeling you're pretty good at that. Do some visualization of kind of picture her at that meeting and her energy, and whether it's putting it in white light or putting it in a pink bubble and sending it away or setting it on fire, whatever feels good to you, just really work on clearing that energy. And that's going to help you, just you personally, but also help you move forward in the job search, so you don't have that dark cloud over you as you begin that search, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I get the feeling it won't take you that long to find anything, and I don't know if you're just going to be, kind of right place, right time, or if maybe you've got some connections. Let me see, I'm getting something on connection. I'm seeing a man. He may not wear a suit all the time, but he often wears collared shirt. He's got dark hair, might be receding a little bit on top. Is there anyone you know, either from church or he might work in a church, that might not be a real close friend, but it's some type of connection, like friend of a friend, or you did like some volunteer work or some type of work that wasn't long-term with this person, or he knows about some short work like that you did?
I don't go to church, so that doesn't ring a bell, but...
Well, and I'm just seeing that collared shirt. It may just be a business office. But for some reason, church was coming through. Do you have a friend or someone you network with in a business sense that goes to church or works at a church? I'm not sure why church is coming through, but I think that might come up later.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think, I was calm and measured throughout the, really throughout the meeting, and they were saying, I feel like you're putting up a wall, I don't know, it was all I felt like it was all my fault. Is that how they perceive me as
I'm getting more of a sense that there was at least one person there that was somewhat in charge, if not in charge of the meeting, that just didn't really know quite how to handle it. And I don't know if it's because, and it wasn't that it hasn't come up before, I get the feeling it might be an environment where that type of thing is not unusual.
Yeah, it isn't. You're right about that. But I feel like this meeting was especially toxic, because I feel like this is, well, it was an awful, awful day, and I feel like taking a shower to wash it off.
I think that'd be a good idea if you do that. And looking at the other people there, I see them just kind of pointing a finger at everybody but themselves. I don't necessarily see that everybody was pointing a finger at you, but I just get the feelings that come up around the table is that a lot of people there just don't really want to take responsibility in that particular situation in the work area there with the relationships and just things that come up. That it's, I hate to say this because I know it doesn't feel that way when you just went through the deal that you just went through, but wouldn't be surprised if it does come out to be kind of a blessing in disguise for you to get you out of that environment.
I agree. I agree, because how many nights can you not sleep and have GI issues and wonder, try to work really hard and just feel like a failure because your partner.
One thing to help you with this, if you do kind of go forward and spend, I don't know, do you meditate on a regular basis now?
Not on I'm trying to, and I will start be better about that.
If you could do at least 10 or 15 minutes a day, and if once it's kind of feeling a little more comfortable to you and it's more of a rhythm, try and put that 10 to 15 minutes maybe around the same time of day, maybe first time when you get up, whatever feels right to you. It can be any time, but if it's about the same time every day, I see you getting in kind of a rhythm, And you may add more time to that if you want, but you may not. I see that just that little bit of time at the same time every day is going to help you really hone in more on your intuition so that as you go out on interviews, you're going to be a lot more gifted, for lack of a better word, at really kind of seeing through the people that you interview. And not only that, but since a lot of times you might interview one person, you might interview a couple people, but you don't get a real feel for the department. Well, as you start doing this short meditation on a regular basis, I see it helping you just get a better feel for the energy of a place when you go into it, even if you don't see any more than just one person from that office or wherever it is that you're looking. And as a result, it's going to help you see through. There might be one or two jobs that look really pretty good on paper, but you're just going to have like a little tug that says, no, I don't think so. And that's going to guide you, so that when you find the one that's the best fit for you at the time, it's going to be a lot easier to see that and to step up and take the best job offered to you.
Okay. Can I ask a really kind of like self-centered question? I mean, it's all self-centered, I think. But are they gonna see her true colors, or like is this just me going, it's not my fault, it's her fault?
I think some already have seen her true colors.
Okay.
That's why I said, like, with a little more time, she'd have hung herself. You know what I mean? And if I was advising somebody, as I said the other night, sometimes in life we have to, especially when we're young, and usually it's for the younger people, young in the workforce, but young in a new career, right? Sometimes we have to bite our tongue and put up with shit that there's no way that we should have to put up with for short-term pain for long-term gain, right? And and I can't say for any one person what they should put up with or shouldn't put up with for the sake of their career, but all I'm saying is that if I had gone to all the trouble of getting my master's degree and everything else, and I was in my very first job position in the profession, I would, especially given the type of profession it is, right?
Exactly.
I would take this as an opportunity to practice what I preach and kind of like, because I can identify that this person, it's you this time, it's going to be someone else because this person seems a little unglued. You know what I mean? And so people like that will always like sink themselves if we give them enough rope, Yeah. And so, but you did it. It's too late to undo. So,
and I think it was the right decision.
Well, and that's good. If you feel that way, then that's good. You know what I mean? That's great. So you got to move on, move forward. Don't linger on it. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't linger on it. If you're carrying that negativity of that with you, then it's in your aura, it's in your energy. If you feel great about it, then feel great about it and move forward. Like you just conquered something, and you're going to go and get the right one. Don't. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it was the right thing to do. Like, I didn't do it like, I'm out of here. I waited like several hours because I had to go on a call, an intake for 3 hours. And on the way back, which was an hour drive, I was telling my supervisor how the intake went. And then I said, I think I'm going to quit because I just, I feel like it's the right thing to do.
And didn't you feel good doing it? Didn't it feel right?
I felt more peace because I've been so anxious. Like, it's weird. She was like, you make me so anxious. Your anxiety has me, I have to go home at night and practice my coping skills, and your anxiety. Well, she was the one that was crying and throwing up and had to leave.
Yeah. That's projection. Like, to use your own professional lingo.
Yeah.
She was projecting, and the supervisor should, and they will. Like, I doubt that person will last another couple of months, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because they obviously don't have coping skills, and they're a drama queen, you know?
Mhm.
They came a little bit after you, and you're older, and now they're going to, be concerned that you're going to show them up or this or that or whatever, you know what I mean? It's also just an utter disrespect sometimes that these younger people have for the older people. I mean, I had that same thing at the car lot. The problem is it was a stupid little take pictures of cars job. It wasn't a big, important professional position I was in, you know what I mean? And so, and I was prepared to hang in there. They fired me because in a meeting, I called this person out on their lies, on their backstabbing, on their setting me and my team up for, she's sending us on wild goose chases for cars that didn't exist. And then we would, of course, by the end of the day, have taken fewer pictures because we've been sent on wild goose chases by her. And so then her results look, her output looks better than our output. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was clear to me what she was doing because when she was there a little bit before me, I saw how disorganized and chaotic she was. Even the woman at the front desk in charge of all the keys for all the cars saw that and granted me access to the back room to all the keys and didn't grant her access, etc. And I just lost my cool with her inside of a meeting and so I got fired. 8 days in or something like that. But I was prepared to put up with it because I knew sooner or later, and probably it didn't take much longer after I was gone that she, also wound up being gone. So it's a question of, and I know when I was younger, I put up with a lot of real bad crap, because it was, critical for me to keep the job, and, there's always in those cases, the person that was causing the problem, and sometimes it was even supervisors or bosses. And so when I got later I'd be all like, well, they'll be gone long before I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
This is a for now thing that I have to just figure out how. So just do my job. Don't worry about all that, and do my best to just, do my thing. And, every situation is different, so I'm not trying to say you did anything wrong at all, but I'm quite certain that she's not long for there. She's an emotional basket case, and there's no way that somebody, she could use the services rather than provide the services,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking, but, I have a skewed opinion.
Yeah, and well, I may have a skewed opinion too, but seriously, I think that I'm gauging my comments, as though I were an HR person or whatever. You know what I mean? And in that scenario, if I was the supervisor who had witnessed all of this earlier in the day, I would totally be saying, please don't leave. Let us resolve this. Give us a little bit of time to resolve this. Because we value your maturity and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? I would rather not let you go like that when I knew that I already had some. Because now as a supervisor, I would be looking at this going well, I'm going to have to replace two because that one's not here long. No way that one's going to last long. And now I've lost this one. You know what I mean? Because they can't put up with that. And but they
like that.
When the woman goes into a full-blown panic attack over something kind of ridiculous, you know what I mean? And that's high drama. And to me, it would also, as an employer, signal high risk because every time something gets going tough for her now, I'll bet you any money in the world that her strategy in life is going to be that whenever times get tough in the job, she's going to book off on the sick leave plan or do something like that. That's going to be it's also a diversionary tactic, when things aren't looking when it might be looking like you're not the in the right or something. Now you feign a heart attack or some other kind of medical crisis so that everybody that now the focus on, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the feeling I get about that person, And so as a supervisor, there's no way, like, I'm assuming that you're quite competent and in every other way other than the relationship with this person, doing well in the job, and there's no way as a manager that I would want to lose you and keep somebody like that, you know?
Mhm.
No way, but it is what it is. So, onward and upward, and, but try really not to, not to carry it on. In other words, like, don't find yourself repeating the story a bunch of times to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm not,
You're living it, you're continuing to live it then if you do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and like I say, like, that's the sign, that'll be the true test. You know, your words and your mind tell you that I'm sure I did the right thing. So now your guts and your emotional self will tell you really quickly whether you really do feel right about that, because you won't give it another thought and you'll move forward and find something better. You know what I mean?
I mean, I know I feel like more peaceful, but like it was a lot of shit that was thrown at me today, so I'm a little, you know, not unhinged, but I feel raw.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure. I'm not trying to say, but, you know, like, all I'm trying to say is that if you've done the right thing and you feel satisfied you've done the right thing, you shouldn't you shouldn't allow any of your energy to go back to that. You should look only forward and move forward to the greatness that is out there for you. You know what I mean? Because every minute that you spend looking back and going back over the thing in your mind, then you're still in it. And then I'm not so convinced that you really do feel like that you did the right thing. You know what I mean?
I'm worried because I think they want us to work together, and by together, they want us to do family sessions until I leave, which I don't think that, I mean, do you see that happening? I don't want to do that.
Well, I'm not sure that, did this at the end of the day is when you said you're going to give your 2 weeks or what? I
already gave it about an hour ago.
Was it at the end of the day that you said that you were going to do that, though, is what I'm getting at, yes?
Yeah, yes.
So that supervisor hasn't had time at that moment in time with you to, you know, consult with anybody else in the organization about it, and so there's a good chance that they may just say, thanks, we don't need the notice, and so you can be done now. You know what I mean?
would hope so.
And so, and otherwise, like, you know, I don't know what to say to you.
I know.
I mean, if you're not going to put it on, like, if you want the money, you know, and they let you work out the 2 weeks, it's not very common that an employer will allow somebody to work out the 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they let you work out the 2 weeks and you want to because you want the money, then you better just suck it up. You know what I mean? And just keep saying to yourself every second of every day, I'm just here for the money right now, and I'm going to be gone in 2 weeks, you know, in 13 days, in 12 days, in 11 days. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
the only way you can survive that, then, you know.
Mm. Chris, you guys are my support group, and I just want to thank you for everything.
No problem. That's what we're here for. You know, it's what we do.
Well, thank you.
Good luck, and keep us up to date. I know you will.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Right, thank you.
I'm going to continue to listen. Is that okay?
Of course it is. No, you're not allowed to listen. Okay. All right. So there we go. Okay, now, let me just see something here. So, Kim, push 1 on your phone now or on your Skype, so I know which one to. Like, do you want to talk to us, or what? I had Kim Justice there, like, Facebooking me. I heard the little bleep. I don't know where you are. It's just that the problem is that there's 2 anonymouses there, and you're one of them. And I don't know which one is you. So press 1. Just the 1, not 1. Press 1 time. There you are. Okay, now say hello.
Hello.
All right. See how that works? Freaking off.
Just call me anonymous.
Yeah, I know, right? Thanks, yes. Anonymous. Who have they hacked this? And so, there you go. What's going on?
Well, it had just been a long time since I had been around, and so I'm running away from home again, coming to the fun place.
Running away from home, everybody means from her own show.
Yeah, my own network.
Yeah. That's funny. So don't make me laugh, because pretty soon I'm going to start coughing again, and so I don't want to do that. But, so
do you have that flu?
No, I inhaled it's just ridiculous what I did, but it was almost like I almost killed myself with cereal.
Oh. A serial killer.
Let's put a bolo on, puffed wheat, serial killer. It's funny. No, you know how there's like powder at the bottom of the bag of, a puffed wheat is powder. Of any other cereal, it's crumbs, right?
Yeah.
I was just like totally not paying attention. I just like dumped the whole rest of the bag into a bowl, threw a bit of milk in there, brought the bowl to the computer. I was looking at the computer, put the spoon at the top, and then brought it towards my mouth, and at the very wrong time, with a heaping amount of powder, not crumbs, powder, I inhaled, and a whole bunch of that powder just went straight into my lungs. Ooh. And that's nasty business, so for about an hour and a half I was like hacking, crying, like not crying like but like just coughing so hard that I was getting tears, and like I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna drown in puffed wheat or something, with puffed wheat powder. A drowning victim.
So it was not Lucky Charms then.
No, not Lucky at all. But if it were Lucky Charms, we could have the whole host of how unlucky the Lucky Charms were and everything. And so anyway.
Unlucky Charms. We got that. Write that down, because you've got, or I will, or we both could. We've got St. Patrick's Day coming, so.
I will try not to ever do. If you find a hazard, like I bet no one in the world has ever done what I did yesterday. I mean, people accidentally inhale food all the time, but I don't know that anybody's ever inhaled the whole. Because generally, you're looking at your cereal bowl, you're dunking it all around and mixing it all up, getting everything, especially with puffed wheat, because it's so light, it starts to spill over the sides and blah. There's a way that I eat puffed wheat, but I didn't yesterday because I didn't have the right amount of milk and blah, 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 and a whole big long story why and how this all happened, and so I'm gonna now I'm still at risk of a lung infection or some kind of problem like that. And so we'll see. But there was quite a lot that I felt it all strange, this most bizarre freaking thing. And there's no way you can undo it once it's done. And if it had just been like a raisin, I could have coughed it back up easily. You know what I mean? But I had bazillions of all the little powdery stuff all over in my lungs now, right? It's bad. It's bad. Anyway.
Ew.
So anyhow. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you.
Picture of the newspaper. You know, what did she die from? Oh my God. What?
I know.
Like who?
That would be embarrassing. That could rank up there with my melting cake.
Who would put that in their life path? You know what I mean? Who, like, if I was up there before I come to this life and I'm gonna write in the way I'm gonna die, like it takes one
cereal.
You know, like a mind that comes up with that shit. But anyway. So Dianna's our guest tonight. Do you want a reading or what? Do you want to talk paranormal? What do you want to do?
Sure. I would take a reading. I could use a reading.
So I'm just for the record, everybody, I'm out of here in 20 minutes, and so you guys can either carry on without me, or we'll wrap the show. And so I'm going to need to know one way or the other what I'm doing between now and then. Okay, guys? And I don't see that Amy's here at all, so she doesn't have the ability to like hit the record, unhit the record or anything like that. So we'll just play it by ear and see where things are at in 20 minutes from now. So do you have a specific question for Dianna or what?
A general question?
Or topic, whatever you're working with right now.
Well, I'm thinking of I'm wanting to make a change in what I'm doing, or would you rather talk about owls?
Whatever you want.
Okay. Well, how about a change of course for what I'll be working at? Have any ideas, questions about that?
Is this something that you've had in mind for a while? Or it's kind of always been an interest, but maybe you haven't worked in it yet?
Well, I don't know what it would be exactly is the question. I've been doing this radio thing for about 6 years, and I'm growing restless with it and thinking maybe it's time to move on to something else.
Well, I'm sensing you've always had a passion for something, to do something, an interest, but you haven't really acted on it yet, but that's not coming through to me. What it is it, and it might have been something that I'm getting it goes back at least as far as high school, something that you've liked to do, and it's something that you're a real creative person, so you could create a job out of, take like 2 or 3 different areas and make your own job if you wanted to. But I'm getting a block I'm just seeing a white wall on what it is.
Yeah, I think I am too. That's why I haven't moved on. Okay. How about...
I'm not saying that you've done a lot with it, like in terms of not necessarily a college degree per se, but research, but it's something that you've always had a passion for, but it's been kind of in the periphery of your life. Does that make sense?
It does. It's just as far as, I mean, what I did a career for 27 years, and then I got, and that wasn't my passion. That served its purpose, but I had a brain injury, and that took me away from the only career I knew since I got out of college. Back when I got out of college, I followed the money instead of my passion. I don't all gross out at the same time, but I wanted to be an attorney back then, and back then I would have been among the first of the female ones, but I didn't do that because abuse and some other things. I wanted to get my degree, get right out, start making money, be independent, and get away from everything I had grown up with. So I did that. 27 years later, I had to leave because of a brain injury. Found myself lost with a loss of purpose, definition, confidence, etc. The things you shouldn't hang on a job, but sometimes you do. And I wound up writing a book about my brain injury and NDE, and that led to me becoming a radio host 6 years ago. And I've been doing it for, well, every week for 6 years. But when you volunteer for anything, you can never get away from it. And I've run our network now for about 4 years by myself, and we have about 15 hosts, and they come and go, and I hire, recruit, train them, and I'm really getting tired of that and just want to I either just want to do my own show and stop the management, and I got guilted and told that the network would probably go down if I wasn't there to run it, because there isn't anybody to step into my shoes and do what I do right now. It's not because I'm so fantastic. It's because they're so lazy and they've had a shill to take care of it. But so I don't know. Maybe it's as simple as going and starting my own network or doing just my own show, like in the old days, or I could make a departure from this altogether and write another book. But at my age, even though some of the things that I would like to do have to do with further education, I don't have the money or the time to pay back student loans at my age. So it would have to be a job that I created and not one that would be like going back and becoming an attorney or something like that. I couldn't live long enough to pay any school loans back or that kind of thing.
Yeah, but would it matter if you did? Because I'm getting that you still have, I got a real strong light around doing your own show again, but I'm getting the feeling you'd be excellent at it, and you'd hone in on like one particular topic or have kind of a niche show of your own, if that's something that you want to do going forward. I also saw a real bright light about the book, but I keep getting that you're very passionate about both research and writing, and I get that you still have an interest in the law, and, student loans die when we die. They're done. They don't come out of your estate. It won't hurt your family or anything. And another thing is law schools, especially like the non-traditional, meaning older students, that didn't just go high school, undergraduate work, law school. So you'd have a pretty good chance of getting in if that's still an interest. I still see you've got a passion for research and writing, and law is good for that. But being highly intuitive, I can tell you as an attorney who's done it, that it's kind of funky the way you pick up energy in that industry, and you do see everybody at like a worse time, because it's all about fighting, But there are a lot of different options. Again, you never know. You could get some type of scholarship being a non-traditional student. If that's something you're still passionate about at all, I would at least investigate that, because you could potentially create your own job with that too, with your background.
Well, it's an interest. Yeah,
mediation.
Yeah.
Mediation's really big now, and I know a lot of other attorneys that have gone to do the training on that, and that's a lot of their business right now, more than some of the being in courtroom. Because when I was practicing, it was like less than 5% of the cases went to court, and it's even less now. But there are just different companies and things that with special interests where you could get into. But you could look at some law schools in your area, and you could call a professor and say, hey, I'm interested in this. Could I visit your class once or twice, and just see if it's anything that's calling to you. But I just see you do have a passion for the research and writing, so I don't want you to push that away if that's something that you think that education would would help you, whether you're practicing law or whether you're doing anything else. Because it's a good background to have. But if that's not something that's still interesting to you, again, I still see the research and writing really, that you're really strong at it and you've got kind of a passion for that.
Well, when I wrote my book, it was, I had never met another brain injury survivor. I didn't know that internet radio or Skype existed. I only told my story, what I knew. Well, 6 years and probably 650 shows and thousands of guests later, I know some things, not only about the subject matter, but the politics behind the mic. In fact, I thought of calling it behind the mic. So the legal experience might be good to know what kind of a risk I'd be taking writing about some of the things that I'd like to. But yeah, good idea. Thanks.
Yeah, because I also get a real strong artistic streak in you, and that could be the writing part. It's when I say artistic, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be painting murals or anything like that. If that's something you want to do it. Because there are different niche markets in the arts, that also need lawyers and people with the type of experience you've had. So just don't yourself. What keeps coming through is just keep following your passion, even if it seems kind of ridiculous, like, oh, I don't know anything about that, or, oh, I didn't think about that before, but, I have always had an interest in that. You might be putting several things together that may not seem like they would fit well together, but because of your life history and your interests, you'll be able to mesh them together. You just need to take a little time and, take off all the blinders, anything that's holding you back, and just say, all right, let's just keep it open. What am I passionate about? What do I love to do? What would I do if there was never any hope for money for it, but I could do it anyway? What would I do, or what would I do in my free time? And
I'm used to that. Excuse me, I'm used to doing that now, but I think you're right, and maybe one of the things I need to do is take the leap of faith and step back. See, I stay so busy that I just keep going and find myself on the same treadmill, and maybe I'm afraid that I'll lose purpose again or won't find what that next step is going to be, but I really need to have faith because the path has always been illuminated when I've needed it, that maybe I need to step back completely so I can clear my head from this other chaos and what's been filling up my time, and have the time to think through a plan where I'm not overwhelmed with so many other things going on at the same time that I'm responsible for.
Yeah, just let to figure out what your passion is. I think once you kind of feel that, when that feels right, like, okay, I'm interested in this, but I'm also really interested in this, I think you're just going to, and you're obviously ask for your spirit guides for help, God, whatever, spiritual path you have for the guidance. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're able to put it together kind of quickly, whether it's any type of education. I mean, and that could be a formal college like law school, or it could be, an adult ed class, just something that kind of gets the ball going.
Okay.
It's going to put it together kind of quickly.
When you talk about
passions are.
I'm sorry.
No,
when you talk
ahead.
About spiritual guides, do you do animals? Something unique happened, and I just wondered if you had a take on the representation of owls as guides.
Yeah, for me, owls have always been a sign of wisdom, but because they come out at night, I don't know, to me they kind of reveal some of the darkness too. And I don't know if that's the meaning that a lot of people associate with them, but that's kind of the way I've always looked at them. It's like, all right, you see stuff more than we do, that aren't out at night all the time. Right. And so have you had an experience with one recently?
Well, I did, 3 days before Thanksgiving, an owl showed up in a tree in my backyard just outside my window where I'm sitting quite a bit in the winter. And he had a schedule. I mean, it was there. I call him a he could have been a she, but I named him Hootie. He stayed through Christmas and left at the New Year. And I felt like there was a connection because I would go out. I took thousands of pictures. I do photography too. That could be part of, it might be a photography book, about some other things.
Yeah.
But I took tons of pictures of Hootie, but while I was out there, I talked to Hootie, and I'd go back and forth, and Hootie would go back and forth. So we bonded. We had some kind of a bond going on, and I felt like a message was supposed to be coming from that. I have one more benign message. I lost a dog August 1st. He used to hang out on that side of that tree and sun himself, and that dog, Mario, predated my husband, and that was a difficult loss for me because there was a time it was just me and him before my husband and everything else came along. So I thought it could have been as benign as that kind of a message, but I felt like there was something layered with it inside it somewhere.
Do you still reach out to talk to Hootie and Mario? Because you can still talk to their spirit anytime. I get the feeling at least one, if not both, is talking to you every now and then, but because you've had a lot on your plate, you'll kind of tune into it a little bit, but then you get distracted, as we all do in daily life a lot of the time. But, just reach out to them because they're both still available.
Will do. All right. Well, cool. Thank you. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Dianna. And don't be frustrated if, it takes a little while, but once you make that connection again and you make it kind of regularly, it will be a lot easier to tune into them. So just be patient with it. But you'll know it. You'll feel it because you've made that connection with both of those animals.
Right. I think when it gets warm again, it will help. But thank you. It's
You're
nice
welcome.
to meet you, and it's good to be here. Good to drop in on Chris again, too, serial aside.
I know.
You'll check in with us again.
That's funny.
I will.
Well, listen, if you're considering leaving there and you just want to do your own show, I highly recommend that you move to IntuiTalks. You can do the video plus it allows you to, do the virtual classroom, and you could do a slideshow in there and have different documents or pictures to refer to, and that kind of a thing. And it's cheaper and, in my opinion, better. And so, plus you do, I know you already have a website, but should the time ever come for you to renew your domain, not the domain, but the person, your host, your website host, you can be hosted as part of the package for the radio show. It would be free for you, and you could map your domain name so that it would just be the same website address. and it would be part of the radio package cost-wise. So it'd be like having a free website and a cheaper radio show. I mean, I don't think you're paying for the radio show yourself anyways, but it is cheaper to broadcast here, and there's not as many limitations. Like, you could start the show whenever you want. It doesn't have to be on a half an hour or blah, blah, blah. You could stop and start the recording. So now if I wanted to, handle some issue that I didn't want to be recorded in the final product or whatever, then I could just hit the stop record button and then hit the record button again when it was time to get going, like all kinds of things like that. And I know Jenny's working on some more improvements around here. So just another idea, right? Get away from broken talk radio.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, was it hard for you since you came from there? All those things that you just mentioned, while they sound swell to have, that's part of our deal. Is our guy wants to move and is thrown like 6 links at me, and I'm not a techie, and he's not going to show it, and I don't have time to, I mean, all the other capabilities you have, and I see more people, you've been doing it for quite a while, using your camera and all of that, and I've been doing straight radio. Did you find it hard to learn all those bells and whistles? No,
it's like easy peasy. Easy peasy.
Do you have to have a mixer if you want to play? Can you still play music?
The biggest challenge for me was that part of it. But once I got that sorted out, but I know that Jenny is like breaking her back. She hired a crew of people to try and they said that they'd be able to do all that for her, and they didn't. And so she's back to doing it herself, and she's made it her mission, to get it so that we can play audio without having to have. But I just use the voice meter, and once you get the settings set properly, it's good to go. The only thing is that you need to be in a hardwired internet connection, and it sounds like you are, because you're not breaking up in it at all or anything. Like, just like most other radio or live feed things, is like anything on a wireless connection becomes unreliable. You know what I mean? And but yeah. So I mean that, and we could like, if you just did decide to try it out or something, like, I could give you my settings and try and help you. You got a techie husband too, right? And so, it's a question of just getting those sound settings properly to use the mixer, and then don't touch it after that. You know what I mean? And so like that allows me to just, whatever is being played on my computer. So if I go to YouTube right now, I could pick anything off YouTube and hit play, and it'll play. Or I could play.
Really?
I could play something that's on my computer. Any sounds coming through my computer can go through that mixer and then be broadcast onto the show. And so it was hundreds of hours that I spent trying to sort that out and get it right. But I did. But I got to run, you guys. Are you guys going to stick around and just do a casual open mic, or are you guys going to go, or what are you going to do? I need to know right now.
You're going to go, then I'm going to go, I think.
Gotta go.
I can stand to go.
Okay, guys, we're going to go and we're going to wrap it up. Tomorrow, Lisa Nolan Shalosky is here. Thank you, Dianna. You guys can find Dianna's website at www.psychicfrontier.com. And thank you, Dianna. I appreciate that very much.
It was fun.
Nice to talk to you, Kim. Don't be such a stranger.
You too, Chris. All right. Thanks.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
As long as I'm still alive and breathing, tomorrow I'll be here with Lisa. So you guys all take it easy and have a great rest of the night. And be back here bright and shiny at 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for Lisa. And so we are out of here, guys. See you later. Thanks.